The honourable member Kelowna Lake Country.
After 9 years of the NDP Liberals, taxes are up, costs are up, crime is up, and time is up. The coalition just got bigger after the NDP leader's fake stunt of ripping up his agreement. Now, this NDP Liberal government has new partners in the Bloc. These coalition partners support being part of a government that hiked taxes, ballooned food costs, doubled housing costs, and unleashed crime and chaos in our once safe streets. When will Canadians have a carbon tax election so they can decide between this costly coalition government and common sense Conservatives?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. While the member opposite brought up crime and chaos in the streets, let's talk about what the member of St. Albert Edmonton was doing in the Ottawa streets just this past week. He was having cocktails and flirting with fascists who actually interrupted a Terry Fox memorial. Madam Speaker, Conservatives are spending more time with those who are flying Russian flags on Parliament Hill than concerned about Canadian safety.
Order. Order. I want to remind members, if they don't have the floor, they shouldn't be speaking, and there was quite a few of them doing that. So just listen to the answer, whether you like it or not. The order. Order. The honourable for Kelowna Lake Country.
Madam Speaker, in Kelowna recently, someone broke into a home in Kelowna and stabbed a woman. This was a violent, random crime. And so for the member to talk about discounting crime and chaos in our communities, shame on her. Canadians can't afford this costly coalition that taxes your food, punishes your work, takes your money, doubles your housing costs, and unleashes crime and chaos in our communities. Common sense Conservatives will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. When will we have a carbon tax?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Madam Speaker, once again we see the Conservatives purporting to support feminism and to be against violence against women, yet what we know is the vast majority that women are subjected to gun violence, yet what do Conservatives do? They're silent. They take on the talking point of the gun lobby over Canadian women who are saying that we need to keep our communities safe and get restricted weapons that are meant for the battlefield off our streets. Why aren't Conservatives standing up for Canadian women?
Again, I want to remind members to please be respectful. They had the opportunity to ask a question. They should take the opportunity to listen to the answer.
Tell her to be respectful.
The honourable member for St. Albert Edmonton is out of order, and I would ask him to hold himself back from all of these outbursts. The honourable member for Northumberland, Peterborough South.
Last week, the NDP leader, in a performance, ripped up the agreement with the Liberals, saying, "We will never, ever get back together." But there we are, the first week of Parliament, the first opportunity. The NDP are propping up the Liberal government. No one can keep up with this. They will or they won't SEGA. So, simple question for the parties of the other side. Will they or won't they?
L'honorable secrétaire parlementaire.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Thank you, Madam Speaker. As the question wasn't directed towards us, I'll just take advantage of this day about military families to underscore the sacrifice of military families in Canada who help to support our safety here in Canada and elsewhere in the world. I know that there are currently a number of members of our forces who are in Latvia for Operation Reassurance. I'd like to thank all members of the forces and their families for what they do.
The honourable member for Northumberland, Peterborough South.
Taxes are up, costs are up, crime's up, time's up. According to Stats Canada, after 9 years of this Liberal government, 111% more Canadians are dealing with food insecurity. That's 4 million more Canadians who will have trouble feeding themselves tonight. What will it take for this cowardly coalition of the NDP and Bloc to finally stand up with Conservatives and defeat this tired, corrupt Liberal government?
L'honorable secrétaire parlementaire.
Cynical politicians like the Conservatives have tied their political fortunes to the failure of the Canadian economy. Good economic news for Canadians is actually bad news for the Conservatives. They've told us time and again that there would be perpetual inflation unless we adopted their austerity agenda. Inflation is actually at a historic low, Madam Speaker. It's at 2%, which is exactly the target rate set by the Bank of Canada.
Here.
Are they really being honest when they speak in this House, or are they just gaslighting Canadians?
L'honorable député de Bellechasse-les-Échemins.
The Honourable Member for Bellechasse-les-Échemins-Lévis. Madam Speaker, the Bloc Québécois has told the Liberals that they will keep them in power, which means they've sacrificed their ability to negotiate, specifically about the Environment Minister's decree. The Premier of Quebec is asking the Parti Québécois to make their big brother in Ottawa see sense. The leader of the Bloc Québécois should support our motion to fire this incompetent, big spending and centralizing government. And when will the Liberals do something to help communities in the Saguenay region and give up on their order against forestry communities? The Honourable Minister. Well, my colleague had a question for the leader of the Bloc. It's up to the leader of the Bloc to answer, but I will just offer some useful information. I will just remind the member that thousands of seniors in her riding received their membership card for the new dental care program. But unfortunately, the leader of her party said on Radio-Canada recently that the dental care system doesn't even exist and there's no point asking for a membership card. Does she believe in her leader, or does she believe in the 16,000 seniors who received their membership card? The Honourable Member. The Bloc Québécois seems to be a terrible negotiator and unable to defend Quebec's interests. It announced openly to the Liberals, don't worry, guys, we're not going to cause an election. That doesn't leave them any leeway for negotiation. And it wasn't even able to convince this government to help Saguenay communities that are threatened by this Environment Minister's heartless decree. Will this centralizing spendthrift government support our demand to give up on this destructive environmental order? Once again, Madam Speaker, this is a question for the leader of the Bloc. I don't know why they're looking at us. But she didn't answer my question. Will she correct the insulting thing that the Conservative leader said yesterday once again? He spent the whole day insulting Quebecers. Will she call him to order and ask him to recognize that the dental care program, which is helping thousands of seniors in her riding, will she ask him to recognize that this dental care program exists